keep on checking you out. They wishing to be yours and they taking you out. It's getting to my head and they pissing me off. I got some real ones and they tipping me off. I know you from the inside out. We do some real talking at my mama's house. We finna get something for $1. We might just hit home in a Honda. But are you ready? I am ready. Don't keep me waiting. I'm okay. I'm just me.
So welcome to another episode of the ByoPodcast in Moto 99. Today we have I like to say one of the pioneers of e-comedy because there are not so many people doing it. Ibizo lakhe Oliver Keith Sibanda. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. Thank you.
So angazi before we start abantu baloku kubiza body bro malume, what are you comfortable me calling you?
If you check on my bio on Instagram, I've written brother, uncle, friend. Yeah. So
I think it's a bro for today.
That's okay. It really depends with who you are and what you're comfortable with. But biza rasta.
Problem.
No, I'm barely manje. Because ungangibiza uthi rasta ngizakutshela ngithi urasta ikhona ophathi webrugwe lakho. So you can call me anything else, not rasta.
Besides rasta.
Yeah, not rasta.
Okay, how are you doing, man? And don't tell me you're okay considering how Chelsea is performing cake.
Yeah. I think personally, as an individual, I'm alright. I always look at my mental health before my physical health.
And do you think supporting Chelsea at this moment in time is a good decision for your mental health?
Not really. It's not. But if there's one thing I'm grateful for in my life is that I don't support Manchester United. A class in England, even amongst 10 Odanda, there's always one that is better than Odanda.
Odanda won.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are not doing well, but at least we are still doing better than small teams like Manchester United, and yeah.
So
for that I'm grateful.
Abantu abasupporting Manchester United ngikhuluma so kuzaba yimbi. I think it's difficult to hlala la phansi ndoda because uhlala ungekho. I think it's been 6 months. I think ngizama ukuthi ngithole itime ngihlala la phansi. So how many countries have you traveled? Because uhlala ungekho.
Yeah, hey, sorry bro. It's when you have so many people that look up to you, and I'm not complaining. When you have people that look up to you, you have to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we find ourselves always on the road, and you're not doing it for yourself.
So by people, are you referring to your family?
I'm referring to my family, yeah. And other people that are not my family that I take care of, you know. So I can't really, to be honest, I know this might sound cliche, but I can't afford to be in one place, because being in one place means ukuthi awula mali engenayo, and mawungala mali engenayo.
I struggle to pick exactly what you're doing in life, because I feel like Ulendo's name was in that, but just to tell the people, like the viewers, what you do. And Tengbala, it said you're a professional model. Is that true?
Yeah.
TV presenter, Humanitarian, at G3 Model Management. Is that a company?
It is, yeah. So there's a lot of things that I do, you know. There are things that I do because I want to make money.
Okay.
And there are things that I do because I'm passionate about. Like, for instance, humanitarian work I do that because it's something that's very close to my heart.
All right.
And I always say, for you to understand someone that is suffering from cancer, for you to have sensitivity towards that person, you need to have had someone close to you going through that.
Okay.
So for you to understand that there's a young lady that has passed on because usebenzisa ubulongwe benkomo or as means of sanitation because they can't afford sanitary pads. You know, those things can be close to you if you've seen it firsthand, you know. So because I've got sisters and I've got friends that are in very difficult situations, you know, that has pushed me to doing humanitarian work. It's not something I'm paid to do. It's just something that I feel I need to do, you know, to make, even if it's just a fraction of a difference in a society.
Can we also say that you're a comedian?
Yeah, we can say, I mean, you can say I'm a social commentator, you can say I'm a comedian, really. It's really up to you what you decide to call it, but the terminology that I've been given is model. Come comedian. So I became a model first.
Okay.
And then I then became a comedian.
And
there's one thing about art, you know, there's always a thin line between specialities in art.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at modeling on its own, it's actually a form of journalism.
Yeah, to some extent. But no, before we get into all that modeling, humanitarian work and comedy, tell us about you growing up in Bulawayo. How was it? Ukhulele ko Bulawayo?
Yeah. So I was born on June 28, 1986, Mgcini Clinic.
Okay.
I'm not the matter day type of guy like you. You know?
Yeah, that's a little bit.
So I was born Mgcini Clinic, and when I was born, my parents got a Queen's Park West.
Yeah.
So my dad came to Bulawayo in the 70s and met my mom around, I think, 1976.
Okay.
And I was born 1986. So Nkulele Queen's Park. I went to a lot of schools, primary schools, and usually what determined the school that I went to was where I was staying at that time.
Okay, so maybe situation lana ukuthi building a permanent house.
Yes.
So we had to. So in migration, I'm avoiding ibala lelane elizondo ngabantu abaningi elithi umuntu wayeloja.
No, it's you know, it's things like this that have shaped us into
that's true.
The people that we are today and the people that we hope to become someday.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, my parents did everything they did for me and my other siblings. My parents didn't own a house, so Sasiloja. You know, I know it's a term that is derogatory to some people, but it was what it was, Sasiloja. So sometimes Saslele Queen's Park, and then you'd move to North End, you'd move to Queen's Park East, you'd move to Romney Park, you know. So wherever you were, you would be taken to a school that's closer to where you're staying.
But we might say we'll move over years, but if you check ama locations that you got to move a year, it's not that side of town.
No, I'm Kulelangi Lokchin. And the stereotype that we have is assuming that umuntu okhulele Queen's Park, umuntu okhule kuhle, you know, their family was well off. Yes, it wasn't for that. When my dad came to Bulawayo, my dad was a gardener.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first job that my dad did. My dad was a gardener, and at that time, in the 70s, kwakulabelungu abaningi.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So my dad worked as a gardener, and my dad met my mom in Queen's Park, and my mom used to work as a maid.
Okay.
So you understand that that location was not by choice. Uguti, they just decided to go and stay in Queen's Park. No, it was because of Mgcini.
Yeah.
So I was born there, and then went to school there. But otherwise, if you really sit down and listen to me, you realize there's no difference between me and umuntu okhulele ePhumula. You know, otherwise, and you realize ukuthi umuntu okhulele eMakhokoba or eMzilikazi or ePhumula is even better than me, because they grew up staying in a house that the parents owned.
Yeah.
You know, my parents didn't own a
But
house.
I think when you have an advantage of having experienced both lives or communities achieve usuke experience the location side of life, usuke wahlala futhi ema-suburb, even though ubuhlala labadala, but usuke wafeel ukuthi ukuhlala that side kufila njani, usuke wafeel ukuthi ukuhlala elokishini kuhlala njani, kufila njani.
Ugogo ozala umama umna wakhe, that's ugogo wami omncane, uhlala ePhumula. Even up to today, uhlala old Phumula kuMaphaneni Street.
Okay.
So I know everything there is to know about Phumula.
Lamadonki.
Yes.
So ngabe sithi amadonki bayozijoin kahle.
I mean, you know, I don't want to be taken out of context, but what I'm saying is ugogo wami uhlala ePhumula. So isikolo masivalwa, we used to go ePhumula. And we would play football at Tumelo primary school.
Okay.
And so I know everything there is to know about impilo yaselokishini, you know.
Yeah. So how is it growing up? Is set up like a family set up okukhulela kiyo? Abadala banjani? Abadala aba soft or abadala aba strict? Babekuthela isibhaxo nxa ophambanisa.
Mina umama ngumamsimanga, you know. Ubaba ngumdaweni. Umama uzalelwe eKhezi eMaphisa.
Okay.
So if you know anything about Ndebele mothers, is that they will not take anyone's crap, especially coming from their kids. So no besilula, you know. Umuntu olesandla esilula does not hesitate.
Esilula
ngesipombo uyabuwela nje ngenhlanekela just from anywhere.
So do you remember a situation where bakutrapa khona like
Countless of them. I've got countless incidents where my mom put me on the right road.
But is like the highlight of ukutrajwa kwakho go and then
so umama ube ethengisa amatamatis. The time I was growing up, my mom used to sell amatamatis at the shopping center. And this is something that I'm at liberty to speak about.
Yeah.
Without any shame or anything. Because I understood that my parents worked very hard to send me to school. So Mgcini mang chayise esikolo, I'll go and help my mom
Take some
mathematics, because at some point she would want to take a break during the day, you know, to go and do laundry and I would be at the shops.
Yeah.
So this one time you know, umuntu omdala akaphendula even when they're right.
Yeah.
So there's a lady that used to wayethengisa duze lo mama. She's late now, God bless her soul. So mama lana wathi nxa ngikhuza ngimtshela ngithi awuso mama mwe.
Oh.
and I know this is a statement that most of us say.
I feel like some cases awucabanga, but not all of us have said it.
Me,
yes. For some reason, I think most of the time, really, in my head, I'll be thinking, Ngikhuzana
Exactly. Yes, also mama.
So mama
So umama lwana wayengikhuza. I don't really remember what wayengikhuza about. So ngamphendula ngathi also mama ungazokhuza. And she didn't say anything, you know, and that got to my mom, and my mom, you know, sure, you know, yazi ukuthi ayikurata bekuchaya and mom would say to me hambe egamula uswazi hambe ezidingela uswazi, yeah, uhambe ezidingela uswazi.
So now what ufika udingelo lelo likhulu vele.
No awungadinga oluncane, because you know ukuthi ungadinga uswazi oluncane, you'll be in trouble for it. So mom would then say to me, okay, uke lo swazi oluncane sengisayawudingela mina, and then bese bekugada, you know, and then you cry, obviously uyakhala ufuna ukuthi you want your dad to come to your rescue, and then your dad finds you crying, ekubuza ukuthi ukhalelani, bangichayile bakuchayeleni wenzeni, and then usukhuluma ukuthi no ngithe umama akazibani wathini, and then you get another beating. Yeah,
vela phana you is incriminated.
Yes,
mawuzaphinda ukuthi wenzeni. So do you have siblings?
Yeah, I've got siblings. I'm number 2 of 5.
Okay.
So kulo sisi first born yankhaya ngithenjiwe, but sesimbiza una junior artist, because she's now a mother.
Salvana junior.
So not junior, and then so we, I mean, I'm number 2.
Okay.
And then so we now Wami, who's based in Harare. Una Denzel.
Alright.
So and then Esnat una Denzel.
Alright.
Then so we now number 4 or in Kazana. Uhlala eNtumbane.
Okay.
Yena una Kasbusiso.
Kasbusiso.
And then the last born Umfana Obet. So in Kaya there's 3 girls and 2 boys. Yeah. So I am number 2 of 5 kids.
Okay. So singathi uyi elder brother kahle kahle.
Yeah.
So between you and your elder sister, i-deputy parent kahle kahle yiphi? Because we know ukuthi kuma siblings kuyaba kulalwana uthanda ukuzenza umzali kakhulu.
Yeah, I think usisi wami omdala, you know, first born yankhaya, and I think it's a role that she's not only taking even now. Like back in the day, umama ubetshona emsikeni ethengisa, ubaba ubetshona emsebenzini. So besitshona endlini singabantwana, and my older sister was she's the one that made sure ukuthi ama-informa wachiwe, ama-socks awachiwe,
then igezi
i-homework yenziwe, sigezile, ukudla kuphekiwe, and yeah. So I think she's that person that when mom is not okay, we all look up to her.
Okay.
You know.
Ukuthi athathe i-role yomzali.
Yomzali, yes.
Okay, so fast forward. So hambile esikolo, baqeda. How did you get into the modeling space?
So the honest truth is that you see, okay, this is what I want to say before I answer that. There's a lot of people try and give out the stories that they think ayatengiseka on TV or on social media. And yeah, like people try to market themselves. You know, someone would say to you, I started modeling because someone saw me and thought I was good looking. Someone could say that.
Okay.
And in the process, people lose sight of themselves and why they got into certain things.
Yeah.
Mina, I grew up with a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And my
what was the reason for that?
Low self-esteem was based on where I was coming from.
Okay.
You know, we were struggling. It was things did not come easy.
Yeah.
You know, I would come home from school and you would need to go and work MCN. you know, umam uzathi imali yokukhava amabhuku ayikho, you know.
And having
Yabingekho. I remember at one time, grade 7, my mom said to me, imali yama exams ayikho, yokubhala ama exams. And then I went and I got yazi ibhemba yokucenta utshani.
yabona ibhemba ya
Ngihamba ngiqoqode emayadini. In the same neighborhood esasihlala khona. Ngiqoqode emayadini like door by door ukuthi ngicela ukulicentela utshani. Ngibacentela utshani and they would give me money. That's how I ended up registering for my grade 7 exams.
babekunika imali enganani masisi quantify nge-currency yamanje?
It wasn't much, and I mean a lot has changed since that time.
Yeah.
So even equating what that currency was, yamali yakatesi, just to take us the whole thing. But the bottom line is, the money wasn't there, and
bekumele uphande.
you have to step up and meet your parents halfway. Your mom would say, okay, mntanami, mina imali esesitholile lo babakho yile.
Okay.
So now the situation
ukuthi
yes
amenza something lawo
uyazibonela. So yeah,
going back to the question ukuthi how then do you get into the modeling space?
yes, I was still getting to that.
Okay.
So I was still trying to tell you what the inferiority complex yayivela ngaphi, that sorry, the low self-esteem.
Yeah.
The low self-esteem was coming from a background yokuthi, listen, even at school there's kids that you won't hang with.
Yeah.
Because when you look at them, they are dressed better than you.
And then ukhanya futhi.
Yeah. The shoes they are wearing are better than your shoes. Amabhuku akhaviwe, ama-uniform abo, they are straight from toppers. When yakho uniform egqokileyo ithungiwe or wayigugiselwa someone well-lining, you know.
Yeah.
So already that meant ukuthi even when you're at school, the way you look at yourself and the way you look at other people is just totally different. Yeah. So that low self-esteem is what ended up taking me to a modeling agency, because someone said to me, you have a low self-esteem of yourself.
Yeah.
You obviously don't and what low self-esteem does, it suppresses your potential as an individual.
Yeah.
It means Uti, even if you've got talent, that talent cannot come out because you don't see that talent for yourself.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to a modeling agency called Fingers.
Okay.
And then they set me down and they said to me, listen, you can be whatever you want to become.
Fingers from that salon?
Yeah. Well, it's a salon and it's a modeling agency, all in one.
I think I know the
salon owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the salon, yeah.
Yes. So they set me down and told me that something that no one else had ever told me. Would listen, you can grow up and become anything that you want to be. So despite where you're coming from. This was in 2006. I think I just finished A level.
Okay.
2006. I then started doing modeling classes. So modeling classes is not what people think it is.
Yeah.
Modeling classes is not just them teaching you how to walk.
Yeah.
You know, and looking at the camera and pose, and there's more to it. They teach you how to speak.
Okay.
They teach you how to dress. They teach you how to look presentable. They teach you how to speak to people. You know, they raise your confidence levels.
So when what changed from a lifestyle or pillar before going to a modeling school vis-a-vis after also attending a modeling school?
I think my perspective to life changed completely when I started learning manners and mannerisms. When I started learning the principles of life and learning Uguti, I should not look like my problems.
Yeah.
No one should look at you emkwakweni and say, yeah, uchomloya today.
Yeah,
and it's a very, very important factor. Uguti, yes, we are together. but what does your mind say? I remember someone saying this to me. Someone said to me, there's nothing wrong with staying in a one room. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The only problem is if that is all you see for yourself.
Yeah.
You understand? If you become content with having less and you don't see much for yourself, then it becomes a problem.
Fanana loku thule bhasikili uqalisa ukumenda amajube ebhasikili awuthengi imoto.
Well, yeah, in a way. So my point is, there's certain things that I wish had been taught to me at an earlier age.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Uti, there's principles that changed my life. You know, I used to dress anyhow at some point in my life, and until I realized, Uti, listen, you can dress smart even in Dubai. You know, that one shirt that you have, where what we are in and look presentable.
And my next question would be, don't you think kwakufakela pressure not to look like your problems? Because I think the problem ebakhona ukuthi if you dress like a rich person or angathi into zakho zihambela kahle, people always associate you with ukuba le mali time ungelayo. So wena awuzange wafeel pressure ukuthi no, but ngismart kakhulu abantu babone ngani ngemali, but andamali awuzange kwafika engqondweni ukuthi no man.
No, I think I agree with your sentiments, but you don't need to have money to brush your teeth. You know, you don't need to have money to apply roll-on under your arms.
Yeah.
And by saying smart, I'm not saying Wuti, I needed to have the best shoes or the best trousers. No. You needed to look presentable, which is why I'm saying even iwache, we iron and look present. Don't look, be clean, be smart, be presentable. You know, so that when you walk in, I remember at one time, for school holidays at OK. Remember OK,
yeah,
supermarket. They used to hire like
abantwana
school, like for school holidays.
Yeah,
and I dressed smart. Ngafaki band, ngafaki brugwe. Yes, it was not the best trousers, but lali I knew if I umqondo ngoki yembe I know. Ngafaki roll-on, ngachubha amazinyo. I brushed my hair. When I got there, I was presentable. You could see ukuthi an effort was put in this person, even though umuntu lo engalamali, but the effort uyifakile. Mina ngangixubha without ngala toothpaste. You know, because toothpaste was expensive. Mangisebenzisa isixubho sinjalo singala toothpaste. Yeah. You know, sometimes uxubhe ngomchecksana. Uthatha isigodo uxubhe ngaso.
But I think okunye ucabanga ukuthi hayi ngabe lapha i-toothpaste ekhona bekuzabe kunjani phonga ukuthatha kuphela i-toothbrush.
Yes, it's in your head.
Yeah.
You know, just imagine you are using toothpaste even if you are not using toothpaste. You know, toothpaste makes it better, but you can still brush your teeth without toothpaste. It helps you to become a better individual. Even people take you seriously when you're dressed, when you're presentable.
Yeah.
Yes. Even unganukeleli, but ugqoke kahle sibili uzwakala ukuthi listen, umuntu lo akafakanga iperfume or akafakanga but ugezile.
Yeah.
Ugezile, uyabona? Akona ukuthi ufika nje uhlubelo hlofu. You know, you walk into a place and people want to leave because kulo hlofu.
Kuvele kulephunga.
Kuvele kulephunga sibili so ungathi kusemguza river.
Yeah. So during your modeling career, ilama problems. Last week's test records, I was telling people that this is the last episode. I'm done with this because bengela mali yokuhlanganisa ama light whatever khonokho.
Yeah.
What problems did you face ku modeling career?
The biggest challenge, for me it was not a problem, it was a challenge. The biggest challenge is obviously the economy was not viable for that type of industry.
Yeah.
We don't have the Louis Vuitton in Zim.
Yeah.
We don't have the Lauren Hill or the Gucci. We don't have these expensive brands. So if there's a fashion show, I remember my first fashion show in $2008. I got paid $15 for it, $15 US. And if I compare the amount of time that I'd invested into that show, it was so much, but I got paid $15. But it's what you learn in that process that changes your way of thinking and it changes your life. So that was the biggest challenge. The shows were never there, even the biggest shows in Zim, and I'm talking about Harare International Festival of the Arts, only certain people from a certain side of the country would only go there, Even like isn't just fun about Edgar's, doing shoots for Edgar's. You had to know someone to do shoots at certain places.
So do you think ukuthi if umuntu ehlala eZimbabwe izinto ezinjengesibongo lapho ohlala khona lapho vela khona has an influence when you're looking for a job or ama gigs?
When you're looking for a job in Zimbabwe?
Yeah,
it does. It does, and I know this is a topic that many people don't speak about.
Yeah.
And it's a topic that many people will choose not to speak about. But listen, we all know this is happening. It's there. There are certain shows in Zim and certain shoots in Zim that I did not qualify for. Not because by merit, ngangala qualification, no, but because
of isibongo
sami Sibanda. Ngisuka koBulawayo,
ukhulumisa indebele,
ngikhulumisa indebele,
ulindebele,
and ngilindebele. My parents are just my parents. They're just ordinary people.
Yeah.
And those things are a factor in determining if you get called up for an audition or you are shortlisted for an audition. It's sad, but it's there. Yeah. But you never want to focus on those things. You always want to work harder until you are noticed. Yeah. So I had to push myself, until I was noticed, until you could not avoid me.
Yeah, and I think you reached similar point where people knew, because it says modeling. Can you touch them?
Yeah, of course.
Modeling one. Modeling. When did you get this one? Zimbabwe Models Awards 2016, outstanding project, charity project.
Yeah.
You call up also the humanitarian.
The humanitarian work.
That's like award, guys. We have he's an award-winning model. What other awards have you scooped? Go modeling career.
I was Bulawayo's best male model in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was Zimbabwe's best male model in 2010. And I was Zimbabwe's sexiest man in 2011. And mind you, this is someone whose parents have no house. Umuntu ozalwa ngabaloja. And I don't mean to sound offensive to anyone who is renting.
Yeah.
Mina ngikhule ngirenta, like I said.
Yeah.
My parents did everything they could for me. They worked very hard to send me to school. And I'm saying this term just to illustrate a point. No, even uvele cholocho akulandaba ukuthi uvela ngaphi.
You can still be the sexiest man in Zimbabwe.
You can-
even if you are from Chorocho or Binga.
Exactly. You can still be the person that you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless of where you come from, or regardless of whether your parents are known, or whether you went to the best schools or not. You can still wake up. You're not, I have to say this. A lot of people always say intelligence is the knowledge of maths. And I know this is going to create a lot of debate, but it's fine. I might as well say it. People say intelligence is the knowledge of maths and the knowledge of science.
Okay.
So we confine people into believing that if you are not good at maths or if you are not good at science,
You're dull.
you will never amount to anything. You're dull. That's why people would say things like, science vela window.
But don't you think futhi government yethu or our education system in Zim is the one esifake that mentality
Yes,
ebantwini?
yes.
Because you'd find when you're applying a university, even some programs that don't even require mathematics and science, they'll be saying they want maths.
They want maths and science.
Maths and science.
Yeah. So you have a young kid who has done well in their O levels, but because they've not passed maths and science, they're considered to be dull. But what is intelligence? I don't know about any other people, but for me, I think intelligence is the ability to do whatever you are good at.
Yeah.
The ability to do something that you are good at the best, to doing it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Whether it's mopping the floor, or it's washing cars, or it's cutting grass. Intelligence is doing that at the best of your, being the best in mopping the floor. To me, that is intelligence.
With the bare minimum resources.
Exactly.
At that time.
Yes. For me, that's intelligence.
Yeah.
So if you say to me, kid, mangala science, le maths, you'll never go anywhere. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to the White House. I've sat in the White House. I've gone into the Oval Office with no science and maths. I'm not saying what going to the Oval Office is an achievement. Yes, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need to speak to our kids.
Yeah.
And let them know the fact that you did not pass literature or science does not mean that you are dull. It means that you are good at something else.
I mean, umhlaba lo mkhulu.
Exactly. Yeah, umhlaba omkhulu.
Kufail maths le English akumelanga ukudetermine ukuthi wenzani life. Some of us passed maths and leyo, but we're doing podcast now.
Yeah, it's so we need to be careful of the things that we say to our kids.
Yeah.
Because there are some, I wrote on my wall the other day, Uguti, at some time at primary school, there's a teacher that really, she really beat my ass because ibugulam lalinga kavwa. And then at one time, Kulo teacher wangu and made fun of me. And I was in grade 3 because my fees had not been paid. Why are you engaging with a 3-year-old about school fees?
Doesn't make sense.
My parent is responsible for paying my school fees. Why are you exactly? Why don't you call my parent or my guardian and sit down with them and understand why my fees has not been paid? Why should you bring it upon me and make fun of me in front of everyone in class? And then you have other students making fun of you. It's a sensitive issue. Why make fun of a student who is left-handed? We have things like this going on even in schools today, where a teacher will say to a 4-year-old, "Why you sebenzisanda sokuchechela ubaba?" And we laugh about those things.
Yeah,
it's funny when you hear it, but do you realize the trauma that you are making that kid go through?
And the trauma I think umuntu ugcina esekhula layo.
Exactly.
Because when mawubhala vele subona tissue
kahle. And besides that, who says the right hand is the only hand that you should write with? You know, who says you should only eat with your right hand? Even there's nowhere in the Bible where it says use your right hand to eat and use your left hand to wash or anything like that. You know, so we've got these preconceived ideas in our minds that are suppressing people's potential, especially at an early age, and no one is doing anything about them.
But can we blame culture or tradition yethu as abantu abamnyama for such behavior? Because izinto esikhule ngazo, but now I feel like people are woke, yabo, abantu sebe open-minded. Izinto kade kuthiwa ziyazila kudala, all of a sudden we're now discovering but lapho kuthiwa ngingadla amazambane acacadiweyo ngizaphuma izibungu zivela. Can you blame tradition, the culture yethu as abantu abamnyama for that?
Yes, definitely we should blame the culture. Sometimes culture has to evolve, you know. There's the culture ayokuthi umuntu oyindoda uyabamba amabele kaSibari. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's a culture that our society looks at and we laugh about it, and then we wonder why.
What?
You know, why there's so many cases of young girls being raped.
Yeah.
And when you're allowing that culture to go on, exactly. You know, and as a humanitarian, as an activist for young girls' rights, these are the things that I always talk about. We need to teach, instead of teaching kids ukuthi label this diagram, sisithi umntwana label intete. Why not teach kids ukuthi if anyone who touches you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to report it. We've made our children believe that rape is penetration. We've made them believe that for someone to have raped you, they must insert their thing into your thing. That's what we've made rape to appear as if. But rape is, if someone touches you in a way that you don't like, that should be a concern.
I like how you advocate for women, lama rights wabo. What sparks that soft spot for women?
It's
kuvelele ngapho ukuthi as a male figure, because the time ngeza kuzo umembe sithi ngithengele umuntu ama pets kurare to find people doing that.
Like I said to you, Uguti, there's projects that are close to me because of first-hand incidents that I've seen.
Yeah,
I've got a program that I do in Cholocho, Binga, Etete, Elupani, Enkai, Efilapus. So in 2012, we did a project with some of my colleagues, and we met a woman whose daughter had died because she used Ubulong as sanitary pads, but infection, and then she passed on in the end. You know, those things are not talked about. You know, there's no one that will say, okay, let's go to Cholocho and tell kids, Uguti, if you don't have sanitary pads, this is what you should use instead. You know, but and sorry, just to cut you, there's a stereotype. I don't even know if stereotype is the right terminology, but there's a culture that associates periods as something that is gross. You know, uthola umntwana omncane who's having their first period as a teenager is even scared to go to their mother and speak to their mother about it because they feel ukuthi sengenza into enyanyisayo. But that's just biology. That's how it is. You know. So when you have young girls that don't have people to go to and speak to about these things, and society ignores it, you know, everyone is worried about, okay, as long as abangikhaya bedlile, as long as mina sengithengela abantwana abangikhaya ama sanitary pads, so right. I'm not worried about what happens ngale. you know.
And they are not even that expensive.
They're not that expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to get to a point where we start thinking about other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard. I don't want to lie to you. It's very hard. There's other people that live in Zim who have no family outside of Zim. I know we always say no izinto zinzima and things are very hard, and you are talking like that, but you've got someone that's in the UK or in America that can always say, I'm too many $200. But there's people that have no family outside of Zim. They've got no one to call and say, mntanami angila chukela, mntanami angila maphilisi e-BP, mntanami I don't have medication for this. They've got no one to call.
Yeah.
You know. So we have to get to a point where empathy is something that is just in you. You have to get to a point where you start thinking about the next person.
I have a friend of mine who owns a similar thing that you're doing of giving back to the community in terms of feminine hygienic products. And why conference, I think, but why kuluma ngokuthi if emhlabeni people started worrying about izinto that don't concern them, like when you start worrying about ukuthi umakhelwane wamgadlanga uzibani ngabhadala fees, umhlaba esiphila kiwo lo would be a better place.
Absolutely.
So I feel like with what you're doing, at the end of the day, yikho esifuna uku-achieve sonke ukuthi sifike ku point yokuthi asikho selfish, yabo.
Yes.
You are worried ngokuthi the next person udlile yini, or even abosisi bona labo ukuthi balabo yini ama pets, yabo. So I feel like it's a good thing oyenza, and you should continue doing that.
Thank you.
I think into a grand, and labantu ababukeleyo, this is inspiration, guys. I think you should learn, we should learn. Even lami khona ngiyafunda khona ukuthi okay, zikhona ezinye izinto okumele sizinanzelele abantu abazidingayo, and nxa sikwanisa ukuthi sibasize, I think it's a good thing. Umhlaba lo ngabashapu kabi.
Yeah.
So besides donating feminine hygienic products, what else have you done in terms of humanitarian work?
So what we do, I've got two projects. One is called Just Be Kind. Mm-hmm. So Just Be Kind is an initiative where you do something in your society. Mm-hmm. However small it is, you just do it in your society. Lapho khona. Kumbuse Luveve, kumbuse Enkai, kumbuse Mondoro. If you are able to make a difference, do it. You know. And I also wanted to say, while you were talking, I just remembered, you know, there's a Shona proverb that says, Namo ye mumwe airambiru gesata. I don't know if you understand what that means. So when they say Namo ye mumwe airambiru gesata, so what it means basically is that, well, loosely translated to,
just because of
someone else has got their problems.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that statement. Listen, that's just my opinion. I don't agree with it. Whoever has a different opinion to me, that's fine. Mm-hmm. And I always say this: if you don't agree with me, that's your problem. That's not mine.
I'm thinking
we don't have to agree.
Yeah.
You know, you have your own opinions. I have my own opinions. But Mina, I will not have a party in my house when other people are mourning next door. That's what I believe in. So we also have a project, Yama Pads, less stationary.
Okay.
So it's a very basic concept. I encourage people on social media. So I have a small bit of influence on social media, and I want to use it the right way to help the community. And even during COVID-19, when we were under lockdown, There's a lot of Zimbabwean nationals in South Africa that were having it hard, and they had no one to turn to, because even the embassy civilly would not assist anybody.
Yeah, plus you can tell the current situation in South Africa right now, the situation as a foreigner, ma ungazibona usugula, yabo uhambe esibhedlela kuyazibulala kahle kahle.
Yes.
Yabo. So yeah, it's tough.
So we have to stand up and help our people, you know. I think we are past the stage where you complain about Uhulumende and say no, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. I mean, you know, Albert Einstein says the height of stupidity is doing the same thing over repeatedly the same way and expect results to be different. If you know what's gonna, Uhulumende is not going to help in these people. There's no point complaining about it. Might as well take it upon yourself. Yes, I'm not going to help all the people, all the people in need. I could never do that on my own. But my prayer and my hope is that if I do my part, when the party I'm 5, you know, at the end of the day, we are making positive strides in eradicating period poverty. You know, and that's all it takes. It just takes one person to do their part.
So abantu nxa befuna ukusiza or abantu befuna ukujoina i-movement yakho of doing charity work, how do they support?
So it depends. If you are in Zim, we have a drop-off point at Fingers Salon.
Okay.
It's right next to Zoo on 10th Avenue and 5th Street. Opposite Zesa.
Yes.
So if you have a packet of sanitary pads, just pass me the pads there. There should be a packet of pads in that room. Just bring me one packet. Yeah, just go straight.
Yeah. So 2 minutes.
No, it's fine.
So if you have a packet of pads, or you've got books, or you've got shoes. So if you've got shoes, I don't want to say old shoes. Even if you have new shoes, please bring them.
I like to say, ma uza donate something, before we donate into njengesigqoko zibuza ukuthi ubungayigqoka yini.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Yes. That's the same theory that I use lami. I always look at the things that I want to give away. Ngizibuza ukuthi right, iskipa lese ngifuna ukusinikeza umuntu, ngabe bengangipha mina ngingasithatha ngisigqoke. And if you start thinking ukuthi no mina ngeke ngisigqoke, don't give it to someone else. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, okay, so
pads, stationery, amabhuku, amapen, ama-satchel, you know, izikhwama zesikolo, izikaftini, izigubhu zedrinki for abantwana, you know, ama-socks, those things. If you have those things, drop them off at Fingers. Go to Fingers and ask for a lady called Patience in Lizio, and collect the Patience at Bale Pansi. And then when we do our outreach, like 4 times a year. We take these things to Cholocho. We don't give them to individuals on the streets, because we don't want a situation where ama-pads are donated as a tennis. So we take these. For instance, if we are taking them to Sandra Jones Orphanage, Waterford, we take them there. We've got a database of the people that are benefiting from this. Cholocho high or Elupane high or Sangaphi. That's what we do. If you're outside of Zim and you want to assist, you can always get in touch with me on social media. And let me know how you want to donate.
What are your social media handles, just to let people?
So on Instagram, I'm Oliver Keith ZW. And then on Twitter, I'm Oliver Keith ZW. Facebook, Oliver Keith. And then on WhatsApp, I never really want to give my WhatsApp number, because of late you have people that text you and it's not related to charity
It's a way, hey,
or,
how are you? Hi,
or,
hi.
or it's not related to business,
Yeah.
you know. It's not related to me coming to MC your event.
Yeah, so
Uyakuthumela message at 3 a.m. at hi, how are you?
It's a weird problem.
You know? So, but if you can assure me, Uguti, you will use my number for the work that I'm talking about, then
it's fine. Okay, so having established career modeling at sharp, why then do you decide to move, to migrate from Zim, going way over Lapo or Hambakon?
I moved to South Africa because one of South Africa's top modeling agencies had given me an opportunity to come and join them.
Yeah.
And that agency is called G3 Models.
Oh.
So they are based at Shine Studios in Braamfontein.
Okay.
And they saw my profile and got in touch with me, and they decided that I should move here because there would be better opportunities here in South Africa compared to home. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry guy. Since that's not up here. Must think about drink. So I tell you what it is in the thing. She told me something. My man's actually. So move go smooth. Did you have accommodation to figure SA? Because I've heard my stories around to saying, yo, I'm not in figure SA. Hey, umuntu ayithoza ngicina. Banyamalala. Into ezinjalo.
It wasn't smooth, and this is something that I've shared a lot with the people that I'm close to and on social media. So when I came here initially, I was supposed to stay with someone that I call them cousin, but what I had been told and what was on the ground was totally different. And I understand that sometimes you don't really tell an individual the truth. You just tell them, listen, I'll accommodate you also, you know. But when I got here, it was not what I expected. And I think I could have chosen to be in that environment, but I chose to use discretion and find alternative accommodation. It was very hard because at one point I was actually homeless in South Africa for 48 hours. Yeah. I spent 2 nights at Park Station.
South Africa,
yeah, I mean,
what's the five?
I think there was nothing. I didn't have anything of value.
Yeah.
So and I think I was young. This is almost 12 years ago. I was young to understand the risks that I was also taking here at Park Station. But I had no one to turn to. I don't have family in South Africa. Yeah. So I didn't have anyone I could call and say, so I had to jump around and make things work.
So in those 48 hours, I was saying hey, umuntu manabele ngishinga
wafika
uyabona ukuthi la sikuyilahla la kumele ngibele endlini ngiyozama katsha akuze kwafika to that point.
Kwafika I had a Nokia, was it a 51? There was a Nokia, an N73, I think. There was a Nokia that I had. It was a good phone at that time.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine had sent it to me from the UK.
Okay.
Phone there, and I was using to communicate. And I don't think WhatsApp was that big at that moment.
But
yeah,
WhatsApp
no, I didn't have WhatsApp.
Okay.
So I used it to communicate with a few people, trying to see if I could be helped, but unfortunately no one could help me. And I had made a decision, let me go to Park Station and find a bus that's going back home now, and maybe give the driver the phone and they could take me back. Because I communicated with mom, and mom had said, you would try another time. So I was prepared to do that, but God had other plans. Because in that moment of darkness at Park Station, so what had happened prior to moving to Joburg, ngangisebenza eCafe Mnandi. I don't know if you remember Cafe Mnandi.
I don't know.
Yes. So I worked there at Cafe Mnandi for 2 years, and every time I talk about that place, I get really emotional because I lost a very good friend who was murdered in 2009. But that's a story for another day. So while I was working at Cafe Mnandi, there's a man that used to come and with his family that became like a friend, I didn't know he was based here in South Africa at that time. So wahlangana la Park Station, wambuza ukuthi ngidinga Park Station, and I had forgotten him. I said, by the way, Umbana, I said, no, my family and I, we are a Cafe Mnandi, and he used to take care of us there. What are you doing here? But no, I'm on my way home. I said, oh, how long have you been here? I've been here for 48 hours. So I told him what was going on, and he accommodated me. And I got a job the following week, and from then until now, it's been the grace of God, I'm not saying I've got everything that I need. I'm not saying I've achieved all of the things that I've always wanted in life, but I'm just saying that I'm not in the same space as I was 12 years ago. At that moment, wangcina ubaba lwami and ngimbiza malume. And but what really motivated me into becoming even better than ukugcinwa was the fact that while he was taking care of me and buying me food and accommodating me, I always remembered and I always thought to myself, umuntu lo uyangcina, but who is taking care of my mother? You see, Mgcini, if you needed accommodation and you moved in with me and I took care of you, I'm taking care of you, but I'm not taking care of your mother. You understand? So I thought about that. This person is taking care of me. I need to be in a position where I'm able to take care of myself. And being able to take care of yourself means you can also take care of your family back at home. Because if you also become comfortable being taken care of, it means that you will not think about the people that you're supposed to take care of that are back at home. So
I think it was 2 weeks back, underrating someone, some people are strategically positioned by God. I mean, I'm a Christian. Some people are strategically positioned by God in your life, and umfundisi lwana waye emphasize ukuthi most of the times abantu abakusizayo ngabantu abangawaziyo. Asozihlobo zakho asibokhazini okhazi bazokuposta ngawale mali awungazibona ukuthi status sikakhazini just
ukuthi
so right. So it's a lesson ephumayo ukuthi wabuya wena essay uzitshela ukuthi uyabokhazini yabomzala, but umzala ugcine usizwa i-strange.
Exactly.
And I feel like ama-strangers futhi uma bekusiza abasoke bambe bekuhlabela.
Absolutely.
Like I'm sure akona point lapho umalume ahamba tshela khona abantu ngibona khona ba ngigcinile, yabo. So I think abantu should get ama life lessons from conversations and so like siza umuntu oyi-stranger. We're not saying izihlobo zakho ngasizi, but ubele I feel like into esiyifunda from wena kakhulu giving back. try by all means. Lapho uthola khona give back and give back. Because before it gets too emotional, guys, playing award Zimbabwe Achievers Awards, People's Choice, Oliver Keep, aka Najeska. How does comedy come about? How do you get into comedy? We model, humanitarian comedy using
If you remember when we started, I said there's usually a thin line between specialities in arts.
In art, yeah.
So becoming a model made me realize my full potential. Why? Because being a model helps you realize even the dreams that you didn't know you had, or even the potential that you did not know you had. It's like it helps you to sprout because it gives you confidence, you know, it gives you personality, it gives you character. But to answer your question about how I became uNajeska, so umama wayetshone Mgcini, and most of the time I'd spend time with my mom.
Okay.
And when I was not with my mom, I was at home. And as a child, if you're at home and your mom is not there, there's someone else who is a parent, who might not necessarily be your biological mom.
Yeah.
You always hear people saying it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Literally, it does take a village. Because if umakhelwane engakubona uganga in the absence of your mother, she will come and put you to order.
Trap.
You know. So mina ngangikhuza abantu abaningi. And that was not an achievement. No. Ngangiyezwa. You know. There's someone that would always come and complain to my mom. Mwana wenyu aita zvakati. Umntana wakho wenze so. And also because ngangitshone Mgcini, I would see how Zimbabwean mothers are.
Yeah.
You know, be it Shona or Ndebele or Kalanga, I would see ukuthi a Zimbabwean mom reacts this way to a certain situation.
I feel like mama bonke balezinye izinto abalazo in common.
Yes.
That's why you'd find if we send a video on Najeska, you'd find comment section. I'm sure people saying, sizalwa ngomama oyi-1. Omama bonke vele. Mama wenza njalo.
So in spending lots of time with Omama Mgcini, I would pick up certain things and I would just keep quiet, you know. Whether it was Omama Mgcini benyeya and or because abantu ababo or besilwa, you know, I would sit there and I would look. And in 2013, that's when I started doing Najeska. 2013.
Yeah.
When I started though, it was a very difficult moment for me because I started when I got a diagnosis about a heart condition in 2013, and the doctor said to me, in fact it was 2 doctors, and they said to me I had about 6 months to live. You know, so it was during that moment when I sat down and I thought, let me do something fun.
Yeah.
You know, and something that would be fun for me to do and not care about what people would say. So I remember the first video I did was where I was pretending to be talking to someone on the phone and I received some death news. So like Nankuluma Shona and so on and so on. So I did that video and I posted it, and it went wild. I remember even the Chronicle got news of it. It was just insane, you know. And what made it worse was I did the video. It was 2 minutes long, and I posted it on Facebook, and I forgot about it, you know, because I posted with the little data that I had, and my data finished.
Without seeing the engagement.
And then I only got it data, I think 24 hours later or so, or a day later.
Only to discover,
And only to discover that the video had gone like crazy.
Yo, I think content which goes viral most of the times is not planned.
Yeah.
If you're doing content with the aim of pulling numbers, of course some people do it, but most of the times people that trend,
yes,
uyawungenzanga ivideo ucabanga hale ngiza trend. Actually ama-videos obona ngani le yiyo le
usually I'm disappointed.
Perform badly.
Yes.
So I think that's what happened with you. I was in the video.
And the intention was not to get any recognition or not to get people following. The intention was just to post it and, you know, and see what happens.
Whatever.
And it went wild. I remember 2 months after that, I got an inbox from someone who's based in the UK. And they said to me, my name is so-and-so, I want you to come and perform as Mgcini in the UK. And I thought it was a joke when the person said it. What's there to perform? I mean, it's just, you know, this person.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you see the video you just did, I want you to keep doing more videos like that. And then I started doing videos like
content
every day, and people were loving them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lie to you. Well, let me go back, and then I did get a cure for the heart condition that I had been diagnosed with. It was something that was curable, and thank God that God brought people into my life that helped me out. And it's almost like 8 years later, and
6 months.
Yes.
Imagine now I was part recklessly for those 6 months. You are gone for real.
And so that promoter said to me, I need you to get on a flight and go to Harare, because I want you to go and submit your passport for a visa to come to the UK. And I thought it was a joke until the promoter sent me the money to fly to Harare. Then I realized, no, but Tumelo serious.
So serious, man.
You know, I was in Harare within 2 hours or so, and I submitted my passport, and within a week, I got a visa. I went to the UK to perform the first time in 2014, and Mgcini. That performance changed my life. Completely changed my life. I've toured the UK almost 16 times. I've taught the US. You know, it's UK so ngathi kusempopo. You know, it's so it was at that moment of trial and darkness that God birthed in me something that would later on change my life. Not really like completely change my life. I became this rich person. No, not in that way. God gave me a direction. With, okay, I want you to take this route. And even in the UK, I met people that would later become family
and friends,
that have helped me along this journey of life and have assisted me and have groomed me and appreciated me and made me a better person than what I was before I went there.
Okay. In relation to content, often people associate whatever we do on social media and below it.
Yeah.
I've seen that many times. You'd find people referring to me as Malume, even if I want our Dalolab just because of a character. I was like, who affect personal space? Would you find people just because you're playing a female character, you'd find people saying maybe Oliver is gay, or Oliver why isn't Mfazi? Like people are not separating
the character
from not Jessica or Oliver. So can you say there is a difference? And have you experienced people saying such things that are associated maybe with you, made bad to gay? And how do you respond to such people most of the time?
I think that's a critical question that I'm glad that we was everything that we do always comes with a stereotype in life. I remember when I started modeling, I didn't know about modeling when I started, but I realized that modeling and designing and fashion and all these things carried a stereotype with them. Is the stereotype justified? Well, that's a topic for another day. Being a Zimbabwean, I'm attached to a stereotype that says Zimbabweans are in South Africa illegally. Having dreadlocks, I'm associated with a stereotype that says you smoke weed. I travel a lot. So many times when we disembark and go through immigration, I always have to remain behind because they want to do a thorough search on me. I don't get angry because I understand that I've got dreadlocks that carry a stereotype.
Plus at the end of the day, did not do anything wrong.
Exactly, So back to the question, the industry, modeling, the industry, modeling, being a male model already carries a stereotype that says, if he's not gay, he's bisexual. Do I worry about those opinions? I don't worry. Everyone has an opinion. You need to look at where the opinion is coming from. The world operates under stereotypes and not realities. So the moment you understand, okay, they think maybe you might be gay because you are doing modeling, or they think maybe you might be gay because you are acting as a woman, as una Jessica. The moment you understand their opinion is valid based on the fact it's coming from that perspective.
What you're giving them.
If you understand that, you won't take it personal because you understand okay, if this person thinks I smoke weed because I've got dreadlocks, then I've got no reason to be angry. And let me just say, because I don't want to offend anybody. I always say, each to their own. I've got plenty gay friends that I appreciate and I love, and I respect the decisions that they've made about their lives. And I'm okay with it. And so I don't want this to sound as if I am against certain things. No. I just want to address the issue of the stereotype. Or maybe ukid unje so, or maybe ukid unje so. That really doesn't matter uti ninjani, or you understand. But what matters is if someone comes with an opinion to say maybe kid is bisexual or gay, I understand where the opinion is coming from based on the trade and the career that I've chosen. And I'll not be offended. If someone comes to me and says, oh, so kid, are you gay or straight? I say, oh yeah, I'm straight. And we move on from it. Umazibona uzonda, umuntu esithi kuwe, asomgcini phela khuluma iqiniso wena mcini. Ungazibona uzondiswa yakhona lokho, then then une problem. Because even if you are gay, there's nothing wrong with it. Even if you are straight, there's nothing wrong with it. I personally believe that you should be happy in the choices that you've made in life and whatever you've decided to do with your life. Everyone should be happy. No one should be in a position to say, no, this is wrong, this is right.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another day. Me now, I am one person that advocates for people to do as they please.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're an activist.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
so
I have to respect the rights of every person. If someone decides today, no, I can't judge them. That's their decision that they've made. If you decide, no, you don't drink it too. If you decide, no, I have to respect your decision.
Yeah.
And equally, if I decide, you have to respect my decision.
Yeah.
And then if we all get to a point where we respect one another,
so content, I know not every video lands well.
Yes.
Some people get offended. Most of the times, people get offended with what we do in terms of content. Have we done a video one? Hey, abantu bashe bathi lapha uphamanyezile la.
So not really. So all the videos in Wenzayo, I always sit down and I write a script. I might not do it physically, but in my head, I'm writing a script. I'll give you a umzekeliso. I'll never do a video that castigates other people's religion.
Yeah.
I'll never do a video that castigates other people's sexuality, other people's rights, other people's nationality, or other people's tribes and so on. I try not to do those things because I've realized that as a brand that I've tried so hard to create, I've got people that follow me that are from all walks of life.
Yeah.
So I have to treat people as human as possible.
Yeah.
So I try not to am I human? Yes, I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. Now and then I'll write something on Facebook and realize, no, I shouldn't have said that. And then I delete it. But I try by all means to make sure that the content yami is not offensive. You know, the content yami does not make people angry at me. You understand? For instance, I won't go on social media and say, no, abantu be Roma banje. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even whether it's a live event and I'm the MC, I won't stand and say, abantu be Roma, what. No. I stay away from those things.
Yeah.
Because in our quest to make people laugh, we have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
We don't cause people hurt and we don't cause people to be offended.
I feel
by
like
the things that we say.
Content yakho mawuyenza mele uyikhangele ngelisho lo muntu ozayibukela.
Yes.
Angazi maybe la wenza njalo ukuthi ama jokes akho wena uhlelisa.
So exactly. but trust me, lots of my jokes really make me laugh. I'm serious. So at other times when I do a video, I will share it with certain people that I always think
Sense of humor.
Yeah, umuntu lo will look at this thing from all angles.
Yeah.
And then that person will come back to me and say, Akid, this one is okay, I'll okay it, then I can post it.
Yeah.
I will never post a video without having someone like you Mgcini. Video le, then you come back to me and I know keep no, this one is very controversial, don't post it.
Yeah.
Then I will post it.
Yo, but mina ungaqala because mina post everything. I feel sharp at that point.
Yeah. I think so what I also realized is we are humans.
Yeah.
We will make mistakes. What's important is what happens when someone comes to me and says, no, keep him dynamic. But and one thing I like is that with people that follow me, I've got old people, I've got young people, I've got 16-year-olds, I've got 30-year-olds, I've got 22-year-olds, I've got 60-year-olds. You know, I've got people that would call me and say, Danan, if it just made my day. I'm going through depression. and your video just made a difference.
Ish.
You know, so you have to be careful that the things you post do not cause people to. You don't want to be
offend
self-esteem. Yes, self-esteem, and don't infringe in their rights. Don't infringe in their choices. Don't infringe in what they believe to be good for them.
Yeah. Awubulizwile, awubulizwa, awubulilalele, awubuliyakholisa. If you're new to this channel,
yeah, I did that times like
Sisli 1 hour something.
Yes.
If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share the video or the podcast mobile. Oliver, keep them follow my social media platforms. Okay, in closing, I wanted to ask just 2 questions, and I feel like kuzaba sharp because hey, the English data panels are just so. I think it's fit for me to just read. What is your vision for the Zimbabwe entertainment industry? This is to say, given all the money and authority to execute what you desire, what's the first thing would you do?
Yeah. I think there's so much that needs to be done, and most of the things that needs to be done in the entertainment industry really require more of ethics than money itself. I'm saying so because I've been in the entertainment industry in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to illustrate the point of it's more of ethics than money itself. Yes, money will make a huge difference, but we need to do away with people saying, please come to my event, it's good for your exposure. And then you don't pay me. You know? Please come to my event and all I get is rice and beef stew. So, so if I had money today, I'd want to invest in entertainment school and changing the ideas and the ideology of the general people and make them know that entertainment is not a career that you get into because you failed your A-level. Modeling, comedy, singing is not something that you decide to do because you failed nursing or you failed at NAST. If we get that's the root problem. If we teach people ukuthi this thing that we are doing is equally as good a career
as being a doctor. Yeah.
Of course the money is different. Of course the recognition is different, but like I said, what intelligence is being able to see what you are good at and do it to the best of your ability. So we need to change ethics. We need to invest in schools of entertainment. We need to invest in schools of art where we teach people that you are a musician, not because you tried everything else and it failed. No, you are a musician because you are passionate about it and you've decided to entertain. And that entertainment should bring you fulfillment and it should also pay you. And once people respect that, then we are good to go. Loko wemali sizakubona sesiya phambili ukuthi okay, imali, let's invest in this, let's create a union for our artists so that they are not abused and izinto ezinjalo. But above all, for me, it's more of ethics than money.
Than money.
Yes, money is important, but let's start dealing with ourselves as an individual. If you hire me to become an MC at your wedding, I should never rock up to your wedding wearing jeans.
Yeah.
I need to respect the job that I do.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dressed smart. They're dressed in tuxedos. They're dressed in suits. Everyone is smart, and then the MC rocks up in jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt. It's disrespectful to the craft.
Yeah.
People will not take you seriously if you don't respect yourself.
If now must take it serious.
Exactly. If you don't take yourself seriously, people will just look at you and you become a mockery. So we need to invest in ourselves as artists. We need to invest in the industry. We need to teach one another. You know, don't say you're an artist because you've got a laptop and headphones. Suzuki's a DJ
Toots.
You know, invest in your craft.
Yeah.
Now, Mina, before I go and MC an event, I ask the owners of the event, what crowd are you expecting?
Yeah.
What's the dress code? What time do you want me to be there?
Yeah.
Is there certain things you don't want me to say? You need to find time to invest in yourself as an individual. You know, don't go to people's events, don't go to people's weddings and start insulting the wedding guests. Because you've run out of things to say. Exactly. People take offense. People take offense at small things.
Yeah.
And when you won't realize it, but someone else might be offended.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know. So if you evaluate yourself, uzifundise ama ethics, uzifundise ama morals, uzifundise imithetho of being an MC. Then you're sharp.
In closing, what advice would you give young creatives that wish to maybe reach the level that you have reached? We're not saying usufike ku-peak yokuthi usuzifila like you're successful, but at least there's something. I think often people don't appreciate izinto uNkulunkulu asesinike zona, iposition esisikiye life nje.
Yes.
We are always saying, hey, kubi, even if ngekho kubi, because zikhona izinto ezabe sezitshintshile. So what advice would you give a young creative from Zimbabwe, Bulawayo, or even just globally?
Yeah. Nothing happens by chance. You don't become an artist by accident. I say this all the time when I give motivational talks, when I speak to individuals. I tell them, you do not become the best guitarist there is by accident. Oliver Mtukudzi did not become the great Oliver Mtukudzi by accident. Uyu Masekela did not wake up one morning and you have to put work into the things that you do. There's so much I could say, but I think the most important thing is take yourself seriously. If you take yourself seriously, the people out there will take yourself serious, will take you serious. You know, don't be cheap and sloppy. Don't be sloppy. Don't just show up.
The screen just went blank. I don't know what happened.
Hey.
After all that English.
I saw isikhathi iphathena le.
It's still recording.
Ngiyabona ukuthi sithola nzima njani. Ngiyabona ukuthi sithola nzima njani. But we continue. You were saying?
So I was saying, take your craft seriously.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. There is no way you can be a good guitarist ngokuyaboleka guitar yomunye umuntu to practice. There is no way you can be the best drummer ngokuyaboleka a set of drums from other people to practice. For you to become the best pianist, you need to own a piano. Yeah. Is it expensive? Of course it's expensive. But if you're taking yourself seriously, you will invest in it. It's as simple as that. There's no chances. You can't wake up today and say, I'm going to American Idols. I might just make it. No, you won't. If you don't put work into what you do, you always be that below average person.
so uphumelele.
uyaba ngabo etc
Hey.
kuyabe kuthiwa babe
Others.
sithi kulabo zivani nabo zivani and etc
Kuyabe kule post elibhaliwe guests Oliver keeping ama capital letter
Yes.
ngophansi lapha.
Yes. It's important that the same determination and work that you put when you're at school, when you're at uni, is the same determination you should put in your craft. Don't go there and start practicing in front of people, trying new things in front of people. Oh, I'm just trying to write a song. No. If you're not ready, don't go.
Hayi.
Yeah.
Ezandleni. I think kule maqephu lapha. Kathi ngaphi kanti? Applause. Deserve ezandleni guys. Bro.
Thank you.
This has been a great episode. I feel like abantu would really enjoy this one. But before we go, I wanted us to do something for a promo. Phela ndithi kumele sibe lo snippet nyana.
Okay.
So, mvunika situation like a scenario where uJessica umthuma ukuthi ayothenga amatamatisi. But amatamatisi angikhona utha wakho and sekufonela kathesi but wena u-interview.
Okay.
Sekutshela khona
Okay.
uyamphendula ukuthi nasi ifonda. uJessica sefona.
Yebo ukuthi Jessica ikuphendula bani phone khona awukwanisa ukuthi hello yebo ukuthi ukhuluma ngani ukhuluma lechamari yakho angikuthuma ngani ngasokusithini manje umthole ngekho bani angithambe thenga amatamatisi kuna Cynthia umthole ngekho na Cynthia so nxa kade ngekho umthole njani manje isindebele bantu nesixegayo uyehlile ukuthi ukhuluma ukuthi hayi una Cynthia ngifikele ngathola kuthiwa akakho uthi umthole ngekho nxa kade ngekho manje umthole njani sithi isitshebe singanamatamatisi lapha ngendaba yokuthi wena uyaxega lesindebele sakho lesi Jessica ngiyabona ukuthi system yakho leyo ukuthi mangikhuluma lawe la uyalibeka mangikhuluma lawe la uyalibeka usukhulile wena usungiqaphisela amavele wena ngane ngumpolo anti so mama sorry mama ukuthini nxa amatamatisi waswele phenduka lapha le mali yamphangisa phenduka le mali yamasinyane umntana wakho usephumele lapha endlini angeke ngilokhu mbambalo ukudororo komntana wakho mina lapha ingakutshela ukuthi into yokuzala sisebancane ngani uzale ebuseni lemini ingani libhokolo uyiyekela no sense.
Bro, thank you very much, bro. Guys, this has been another episode of ByoPodcast.
Tipping me off. I know you from the inside out. We do some real talking at my mama's house. We finna get something for $1. We might just hit home in a Honda.